Hey guys, listen, there are a lot of ways to lose 100 pounds. I mean, for example, you could eat a cabbage soup diet all day and you would eventually lose weight. You'd miss a lot of nutrients. You'd likely not stick to it for long. You'd probably have some gastro distress, but thousands of people tried it and some even lost weight and then they quit. Because who can live that way? Or you could just eat fewer calories and move your body more. But how many of us tried it repeatedly and failed and went right back to what we were doing? And even if you are pretty sure that you know the absolute best way to lose weight, knowing it and then executing it and keeping it up and maintaining that weight loss forever, those things are not even related. So after working with hundreds, if not thousands of people for the past 17 years, as I myself lost 120 pounds, I started to realize that it really comes down to four main changes that can help you to drop weight, even a lot of weight, and keep it off forever. Now, I warn you that some of these tips are going to seem boring, a little bit cheesy, and some are going to sound awfully familiar, and that's because they work. But don't let that stop you from trying them. The first thing to do is to get your head right. This is a mental game. If you truly think you cannot lose weight, you are likely right. If you think you're too weak or too unmotivated, then yes, you are probably right, because every thought you have matters. And if you think it can't happen, your negative, self-limiting thoughts will likely prevent any progress for long. Any of you ever experienced self-sabotage? Yeah. And I know affirmations are so annoying because it feels like we're just lying to ourselves. But what you are doing is rewiring your brain to be who you want to be. And if you were to say a positive affirmation like this one 5 times throughout your day, every day, you would start to behave differently, even if you feel like an idiot while you do it. Something like this: I can do hard things. This time is different. Small changes will make a big difference. My health is important. I want this, and I respect myself enough to not quit. So you would say your own positive affirmations throughout the day. Read them if you want. Feel like a fake. Feel like it's forced. Feel like it's silly. That is all completely okay. Almost beside the point. But just do it. The next step, take 1 minute per day to sit alone in a quiet room with your eyes closed. You can actually do this a few times throughout the day, but let's start with just 1 minute. Close your eyes and breathe. Deep belly breaths, preferably through your nose if you can. Be aware of your body. Feel your feet on the floor or feel your butt touching the chair. This will help shut off your autopilot mode, which is where most of us live. 80 or more % of our time is just spent in autopilot mode, and it's going to awaken your prefrontal cortex. That is the best part of your brain. It controls reasoning, problem solving, impulse control, perseverance, creativity. It's huge. And that's the part of the brain that we want to be active. Shutting yourself off from stimulation to focus on breath and nothing else can actually activate that part of the brain. And brain scans have proven it. Next, with your eyes still closed, try listing some things you're grateful for. It's hokey, I know, but there's solid research that making yourself list things that you're grateful for every day can lower your blood pressure, increase the activity in that prefrontal cortex, lead to higher self-esteem, increase your happiness, and raise your motivation. So list maybe 5 things that you already have that you're glad to have. Maybe nice kids, a dog, another day to live, a thick steak in the fridge, good eyebrows, a nice rack, a warm cup of coffee, whatever you are happy to have. Just take a moment and reflect on the ways that you are already winning and already blessed. And if you can't find anything, you aren't looking hard enough. But the more time you spend looking for those things, the better you'll become at finding them. And then take one more moment to visualize yourself exactly as you want to be. If you want to be ripped, see that in your head, not someone else being ripped, but you, your face, you. If you want to lose weight, see yourself as thin. If you want to be a faster runner, imagine it. Feel the details. See the clothes you would wear. See the food you think you would eat. Imagine feeling completely free from sugar addiction and not caring at all about sweets. Imagine enjoying a steak. Imagine saying no to the French fries. Imagine putting on walking shoes and choosing to get up and go take a walk. Imagine drinking cold water and enjoying it. Taste it. Feel it. Picture your face. Picture yourself as the person in the image. Doing this will not alter the universe or change the people around you. I'm not into new age voodoo, people. But what this will do is it will allow your brain to see and feel what it is you want. It will open your mind to the possibilities and make it a safer and more likely option than some scary unknown. And your own body will start to believe these images. Your desires will change. You may find that you suddenly feel like taking a walk or drinking some water. Also, forcing yourself to sit quietly without stimulation will help you build up some emotional maturity without having a screen to keep you occupied for one whole minute. And I was surprised at how challenging it was. But the fact that it's hard is good because it helps us build up some resilience, and that's important. Do a small, challenging task to help you become more resilient. We do that by hard things like exercise, cold showers, meditation, or even trying to make it through a hard book. Best-selling author Sarah Wilson uses the mantra, stay longer. She says that staying in the moment when things are hard keeps us in the present and helps us to become more resilient for other hard things, like saying no to pie. And yes, I'm still on the mental game section because it's huge. And after we get this part right, the other 3 tips are going to be pretty easy, but the other 3 are useless if you haven't worked on your head. So let's keep at it. All of us have core beliefs about ourselves. They usually stem from things that happened to us in our own childhoods. For example, if you have a core belief, something like, I'm fat, I'm always going to be fat, or I don't have any motivation because I'm lazy. When we have those beliefs, our brains look at the world and they will try to find all supporting evidence all day, every day. So when you do make yourself go exercise, you're focused on negatives and your brain is looking to prove that that belief is right. Like, I got sweat in my eyes, my leg is cramping and there's gnats. I do hate exercise. Our brains are so good at doing this that we will even write off positive moments as flukes. So if you truly were to believe that you are worthless, then you will look for all evidence to support that and will even block out like beautiful compliments from people just because it goes against that core belief. So the question is, how do we change those core beliefs? Well, it may be helpful to go back and think about, where did they come from? Did your grandma call you lazy? Did a kid at school call you fatty? Because that happened to me more than once. But do the uncomfortable task of looking at those painful memories to see why you don't think you are worthy of taking care of yourself. Or why do we continue to self-sabotage? Or why do you think you could never lose weight? And when you look back as if you are the kind, loving parent now. And if you had kind of crappy parents, you might need to parent your own self even better than your own parents did. But tell yourself, that kid at school that called you fatty was just trying to be hurtful. And that way he was wrong about a lot of things, not just you. He wasn't a prophet. He was just some little punk kid that was probably hurting too. His words are meaningless. You don't have to let them hold any power over you. Tell your little girl self or your little boy self that you were adorable because you were. You still are. You were precious and worthy of love, and you still are. So have some talks with that little one inside you that was so hurt. The people that hurt you when you were little were likely just hurting humans too. They were wrong. You have the right to be angry at them, but you can also see them as hurting people who failed to protect you. And you can even work on forgiving them for those hurts. But thinking through those childhood hurts and traumas, even little tiny ones, can help you to see yourself as the survivor that you are, because you've been through hard stuff, but you're still here. You're watching this video, you're fighting for yourself, and you love other people. You are worthy of love. You are able to change. You are strong. You are empowered. And when you see yourself that way, you are much more likely to actually make a change. You'll expect other people to respect your food choices. You'll have self-respect to keep promises to yourself. You'll care enough about your inner self and your body to make healthy food choices. And once you work through some of that hurt, you may find that you don't even need all the processed foods as a constant source of comfort, and you won't need them as your own daily therapy. So every day, find a way to gently and wisely parent that little boy or little girl inside your head that lived through hard times. Tell them what you would tell your own son or daughter if they were going through those hurts right now. Remind yourself that you survived and you are the hero of this story. And you may not have always been perfect. We aren't. But you don't have to continue feeling guilt and shame for long gone mistakes because we're in this moment. We're moving toward a brighter future. We're going to get better at being present, at practicing closing our eyes, concentrating on slow breaths through our nose. We're going to fire up that prefrontal cortex. And this is all so that we can break our old thought habits and stop living out the same old habits day in and day out that weren't serving us and that were keeping us eating foods that hurt us and that were keeping us from our life goals. We need to get out of default mode or this autopilot if that isn't who we really want to be. But please know that when you are going through the process of stopping autopilot, your brain is going to resist change because brains love autopilot mode. And you may feel very emotional as you try to change old behaviors and because they've become effortlessly habitual. So forgive yourself for these past bad habits. Even if your habit was eating like 70 Little Debbie cakes per week, there was a positive intention behind it at the time. You were likely just trying to make yourself feel better. And those processed foods released all kinds of happy chemicals into your brain. And it did make you feel better for a minute, even though it didn't serve you in the long run. But let go of guilt for that, because you were doing something to make yourself feel better in the moment. And shaming yourself for it will almost certainly bring you right back to that drug of choice. Those foods were designed to light up your limbic reward system and keep you addicted. You were self-soothing, and those processed foods were keeping you coming back for more and more, just like they were designed to do. So instead of shaming yourself, ask yourself, was the behavior a problem? Was there anything wrong with eating all the Little Debbie snacks? Well, for me, it caused me to crave more and more sugar, and I had boils, and I weighed over 260 pounds. So those behaviors were not working for me. It also didn't work for me when I was eating a very low-fat diet or when I tried a plant-based diet. But if those things work for you, that's fine. But if eating sugar did not help your life to improve, then there's reason to change. Become acutely aware of why it matters that you change. Don't shame yourself for not doing it sooner. Just remind yourself why you need a change and keep building up your resilience and engaging your prefrontal cortex by doing visualizations, clearing your mind of old thoughts, and focus instead of why you need the change, how it's going to look, how it's going to feel when you do make the changes. Which brings me to the next short exercise. Write out one journal entry as if you have already made these changes. Write it as your future self, the healthy, happy, unaddicted version of yourself, something like this. Dear Kelly, I'm feeling so good these days. I don't even miss carbs. I eat steak, I take walks. I had to buy smaller pants again. I can't believe how good I feel. I have freedom. I love just knowing when I'm hungry, I can eat a steak and feel fueled. Seeing food as fuel has been a wonderful life change. It's good to feel happy and healthy. If you were to write out a journal entry, cheesy as it may be, just like that, or 10 of them, your brain and your body actually start to buy it, especially if you try to visualize it in great detail. Next step, make a small daily promise to yourself. Dr. Nicole DePera says that she did this back when she had hit rock bottom. She didn't know how to start some huge new habit or anything big, so she promised herself that she would sit up straight and take 5 deep breaths per day with her hand on her belly, and that was it. She made herself do it every day. And by keeping one small, healthy promise to yourself, you are building back some credibility to yourself. So start one small thing that you can do forever. Promise yourself that you'll make the bed each day, or that you'll do just 5 push-ups, or that you'll go outside and breathe deeply for 1 minute per day, or that you'll close your eyes for 1 minute per day without any stimulation and just breathe and clear your head. And then do it. There's no need to overwhelm yourself with some huge activity unless you feel ready for it. So start at your own level and make it something that you can do. And once you've started doing these mental exercises, like you've repeatedly visualized what you've wanted, you've practiced clearing your head, you've journaled as a healthy future self, you've worked through some of those childhood hurts, and you've practiced keeping a small daily promise to yourself, then you have prepared your canvas. Your resilience is going to improve. Your self-esteem is going to go up. You're going to have a stronger prefrontal cortex. You're going to have a more optimistic look on the future because you've literally started rewiring your brain to accept these changes. And now, step 2, food. You have to eat. We need nutrients to keep our body functioning well. If you're triggered to binge when you eat pastas, sweets, starches, and processed carbohydrates, you are not alone. Those foods override our satiety signals and they cause us to overeat. They give us lots of calories with very little nutrition. And many of them are full of chemicals and fillers that are hard on our gut lining. So we need to lose weight, but what can we eat? For me, my doctor told me to eat meat, eggs, dairy, and low-carb vegetables if I wanted them. And that's what I did. And I lost 120 pounds. Also, I don't like vegetables very much, so I didn't eat a lot of them. I mostly ate meat, but with some pickles, green beans, a salad here or there with full-fat dressing. The low-fat ones are full of sugar. And over time, I started to realize that I felt my absolute best when I only ate the meat and eggs. So I haven't eaten plants now, other than some seasonings on my meat, and I do drink coffee, not since 2009. That's all I've had since 2009, meat, eggs, and dairy, because that is what works for me. But you may find that something else works best for you. So my suggestion is to first try a low-carb diet. If you can cut out all sugary drinks like soda or sweetened teas and get your carbs down to about 40 total carbs per day, you will start to lose weight eating that way. In fact, many people also feel less inflammation if they eat that way. And that 40 carbs per day might work beautifully for you forever. I did 20 carbs or less for about 5 years, and I managed to lose a lot of weight. And it worked pretty well. Except it was hard, really hard. Why? Because I'm not good at moderating carbs. So it would be sort of like putting a severe alcoholic on a regimen of 1 drink per day. And that seems fair, right? You can still have your 1 drink per day. That's good, right? But the problem is that alcoholics can't moderate alcohol. And many of us, like me, I can't moderate carbs. So for me, I found that eating none, 0, was easier than eating just a little. And once I removed all sweet tastes and all carby foods from my diet, it was actually easier to stick to it. In fact, I lost my sweet tooth and I began to actually crave real foods like meats. But that didn't happen until I totally abstained from carbs and sugars in the exact way that an alcoholic would have to abstain from all alcohol. But that doesn't mean that you will have to do that. Some people can moderate alcohol effortlessly, and some people can moderate carbs. If you're the type that could have 1 or 2 Oreos, put them away, forget about them, you probably aren't a sugar addict. But that was never the case with me. If they were in the house, I was thinking about them and fighting to not eat them all. So let's just say that you do have a problem with processed foods, sugars, and carbohydrates. I suggest that you get it out of your environment as much as possible and begin the detox process. You are going to need some resilience because the first couple of weeks may be hard, but what could help you get through it? Staying full of real food. And for me, that meant eating a large fatty steak 2 to 3 times per day, or having a bowl of soft scrambled eggs if a craving hit, or eating a whole plate of bacon. Eating plenty of nutrient-dense animal products is going to help your body stay satisfied, and it's going to help prevent cravings for addictive foods. And once you cut out carbs, or at least most of them, you will likely feel worse for a little while because it takes some time for your body to adjust to getting energy from fat instead of carbs. And your body will become a fat-fueled machine, but that conversion process can be a little intense. You may have upset stomach. You may need to take some electrolytes for energy during that time. Some people even need a little ox bile supplement for a while, but others adapt easy and take right to it, so don't be scared. If you have constipation issues, you may need to drink more water and eat meats with more fat. Or you may need to add some butter to your meals for a while. If you're having the opposite problem, You could try cutting back on fat for a bit. Your gut may not be able to handle all of the fat, and you could try eating smaller meals throughout the day with leaner meats and slowly working up to those large meals of fattier meats. It doesn't take long for people to start to feel better though, and they'll see a drop on the scales, especially if they had been eating a carb-based diet before starting. And those positive results that you'll see and feel are really motivating, and they usually lead to even more positive changes. And once you get used to eating this low carb diet, and you're pretty easily keeping your carbs at around 40 grams or less per day, then you can decide if you need further adjustments. So if you aren't having to fight cravings all day, you might be able to keep in diet soda and some sweeteners in your diet. But if you are having carb cravings all day, you might consider cutting all sweeteners out. Most people can become completely free of cravings if they give it a couple of weeks without anything sweet tasting at all. And once you're free, you can just stay completely abstinent, and you never have to go through that withdrawal process again, unless you choose to. If you are doing low carb and you're having issues with inflammation like joint pain or some gut issues or an autoimmune flare-up, you could try doing like I do. Remove all plants from your diet for a while to see if it helps. You can get all essential vitamins, nutrients, and amino acids from animal products. There is no worry about making sure to get enough carbs. Humans have no minimum requirement for carbs, so we can live off of only animal products forever without even like a supplement regimen. But that doesn't mean that everyone has to do it that way. If you feel great and you're getting great results while eating animal products plus avocados, then do that. If you can eat meats and have some pickles or olives without belly pain, carb cravings, weight gain, inflammation, then that sounds perfect. The idea is that you find a diet that removes junky, addictive processed foods while providing your body with excellent nutrition in a way that is able to keep you full and satisfied. Bonus points if that diet also doesn't cause intense cravings or gastric distress. And if your diet also allows you to lose weight, have good energy, sleep well, keeps your libido up, makes your nails and your hair grow, and keeps your moods pretty even and happy. That's awesome. So once you think you know what that diet might be, then I would like for you to try a 30-day experiment. Just try what you think that healthy diet is going to be. And it may not be exactly what I do, but I want you to write down 5 breakfasts that fit into this new healthy diet plan. Write down 5 healthy lunches, healthy dinners, and 5 healthy snacks. And for me, that would look something like this. For breakfast, 1, scrambled eggs with bacon. 2, a meaty cheesy omelet. 3, a sausage sandwich, but the sausage patties are the bread with some eggs and cheese between. 4, an eggy baked casserole with meats and cheeses in it. Or 5, just some coffee with heavy cream, because I'm not even usually hungry in the mornings. So there you go. For lunch, it could be ground meat from the air fryer, burger patties, even fast food ones like McDonald's or Wendy's. It's just meat. Strips of steak, chicken wings, a pack of smoked salmon, a bunch of cooked bacon, some deli meat roll-ups, hard-boiled eggs, rotisserie chicken. Okay, then for dinner, I usually have a steak, but sometimes I'll choose a pork chop or some ribs, chicken thighs, more burger patties, but it's usually a steak with fat on it. I eat until I am comfortably full. I don't go around hungry, but I also don't try to overstuff myself most of the time. And sometimes it happens, and it's fine. It's fine. As for snacks, you probably will not need to do a lot of snacking because you're going to hopefully be full from all these huge fatty meals. But if you do find yourself wanting a snack, you could eat bacon, pork rinds, pepperoni, carnivore snacks, carnivore crisps, hard-boiled eggs. Some of those things are a little easy to overeat, so I would try to limit snacking, focus on meals of real meats. But if it comes down to pork rinds or some donuts in the break room, please eat the pork rinds. Just know that some of them have some MSG and some added sugar or some sketchy stuff, but it's still going to be better than donuts. And if you are hungry between meals, eat bigger meals. It's good. Adjust as you go. And if you still decide I need a little something between my big meaty meals, then grab a small little meaty snack. a slice of bacon, or 5, and then just go back to what you were doing until you're really hungry again. Full disclosure, you might start having some feelings of deprivation during this changeover adaptation time, but I would encourage you to reframe these negative, sad thoughts in a way like this. I could eat the pizza, but if I eat that pizza, I'm gonna have to go through withdrawals again. I'll probably have a bellyache, I'll probably gain back some weight. I'm going to feel disappointed in myself, and I do not deserve all that. I deserve to feel good. And I wish I could eat pizza like other people, but I would rather feel good and I'd rather look good. And I don't want to be addicted. I would rather lose weight. And it's kind of sad to not eat pizza, but everybody struggles with something. And at least I know what I need to do to feel better, and that it's worth it. I'm worth it. Your brain is probably not going to believe those new thoughts at first. In fact, your brain might reject the new thoughts and be downright annoyed. But the more you talk to yourself this way, the more your reticular activating system is going to accept this new information. And then it will start looking for the evidence to confirm these core beliefs that you have told yourself. So you need to rehearse these new thought patterns so that your brain can begin looking for evidence to confirm it. And if you're doing all that brain work while you're also fueling your body with plenty of fat and protein, you are going to start to see and feel results. And that is going to provide more and more confirmation that these new beliefs and these new thoughts must be true. And while you're changing your diet, I want to encourage you also, when you get rid of the sugary drinks, please replace it with lots of water. I love unsweetened seltzer waters, but you can drink whatever water you prefer. Weight loss experts Liz Josephsberg and Dr. Richard Johnson, they both have so much research that they have done into areas of losing weight. And they have so many patients and clients. And they say that the vast majority of them are unknowingly dehydrated. And they both agree that dehydration is a very common reason that people don't lose weight. They say that a great place to start is to make sure you're getting at least 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water per day. And Liz Josephsberg said that she actually recommends 100 ounces of water per day. The best way to judge your hydration is to make sure your urine is not amber in color. It should not look like apple juice. And it also shouldn't be completely clear. That's overhydrated. So basically, you're just looking for some lemonade, okay? And then you're probably doing fine. All right, step 1, get your head right. Step 2, begin the diet plan that you want to try while also drinking water. The third step is to balance your hormones. Weight loss is very much hormonal. Most bodies are very resistant to dropping excess weight while in a state of stress. So eating healthy foods and avoiding processed junk food and giving up sugar, that is a great place to start to getting your hormone levels where they should be. But there are some other things that could help. And if your body is living in a constant state of stress and panic, you might not even realize it. You might just think that's how life is because you've gotten used to it. But maybe your hormones haven't. So if you're dealing with constant stress, you may want to lower your cortisol levels. In some ways to do that, take walks, like lots of walks. Take a quick walk on your lunch break if you can, or between meetings. Walk in the sun when possible. Listen to music while you walk. Talk to a friend while you walk. These things are wonderful for lowering cortisol and giving you happy hormones. Eating foods with plenty of healthy fats, including omega-3s like in fish, they can help lower cortisol. Find ways to relax, and you might have to schedule it in your day. You could schedule your hobby. And if you don't have a hobby, get one. Find an activity that is not screen-based, but that you enjoy. Painting, running, crafting, crosswords, writing, golf, shooting hoops, building models, reading books. All of these are activities that can be a very powerful release. The next best way to lower your cortisol is to get sleep. It is almost impossible to lower cortisol levels while sleep deprived. And it's nearly impossible to lose weight while you have cortisol pumping through your veins. So we're going to get sleep. We're going to take walks. We're going to enjoy a hobby, do deep breathing, maybe start a yoga habit, get some sun, talk to someone, have physical touch, pet your dog, pet your cat. All of those things have been proven to reduce cortisol. And some evidence even shows that going barefoot in the grass, taking a cold shower, avoiding screens, Using more natural light, all of those things can also reduce cortisol in some people. And by reducing that stress hormone, it is a very powerful way to live longer and to lose weight. So if there are stressors you can remove or reduce, that's great. But just learning to deal with the stress better is also effective in case you can't actually quit your toxic job or get a new family. All right, the fourth and final tip to lose weight forever is to get some support. You can explain what you're trying to do to the people who are in your life, and they may or may not understand, but what you eat is your call only. So you make that decision, and you can just allow other people to feel how they want to feel about it. That's not your problem, that is theirs. But if your friends and family aren't supportive in your new endeavors, research has shown that you are more likely to not stick with the changes. In fact, statistically, if you can have 5 positive interactions per day with people who are on a similar path, you are more likely to stick to the new plan. So if you're trying the low carb route, then each day, visit some low carb Facebook pages or listen to a low carb podcast, follow some low carb Instagram accounts. Same if you're doing keto or carnivore, whatever you decide to try. Find some people who support what you are doing and immerse yourself in that content and in their presence. Having that support that you need and learning the new research that supports your goals and then having some accountability, it is only going to help you stick with what you're doing. And if you are determined to do the carnivore diet like I do, you may want to join a carnivore coaching group. There are tons of them out there now. I run groups, but so does Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, Bella, the Steak and Butter Gal, Rivera Wellness, Tiffany Davis, Lali Seisel, JC Carnivore. There are so many support groups out there just for carnivore. So I would encourage you to find your people, whether you're into fasting or running or keto, underwater basket weaving. There is a group out there that is going to help you stick to the goals. And they should also help you when you aren't perfect, because you likely won't always be perfect. And perfection is not our only goal. We're striving for progress and for feeling better. And that may not always look like 100% compliance, but a good support group will help you deal with those lapses and to then learn from them. A good group will encourage you to focus on how you feel after a lapse and how to avoid the situations and those triggers in the future, and to really notice if they did affect you negatively. So if you really do want to lose a large amount of weight and keep it off for the rest of your life, let's review 4 things you will likely need to do. 1, the mental game. Work through some past hurts that may have led to some flawed core beliefs about yourself. Work on some future self-journaling. Learn to calm your mind with meditation. Visualize yourself exactly as you want to be. Start practicing daily gratitude. Build up your prefrontal cortex with some resilience activities, and keep a small daily promise to yourself that you can build upon. 2, choose a diet. For me, that's only animal products, but whatever you choose, please make sure it is rich in nutrients, hello meat and eggs, void of addictive sugars, free from seed oils and junky fillers, and based on whole ingredients with plenty of healthy fats. Make sure it's something you can see yourself enjoying that works for your life and your goals. For me, that is carnivore. For you, it might be something else. But pick out the plan that you think will work for you, and then write down some meal ideas that fit that plan. And then start eating them. 3, work on balancing hormones by lowering cortisol levels using sleep, sun, movement, hobbies, human interaction, some physical contact, prayer, deep breathing, cold showers, quiet time, and even laughter. Make time for your mental well-being, because your mental well-being affects your health and your weight loss. And number 4, find your people. It could be YouTubers or coaches, friends and family, an accountability partner at work, a podcast that inspires you, or a Facebook group full of good info. But having people in your corner to celebrate your success and to help you get back on track when you mess up can make all the difference. If you can do those 4 things, I'm telling you, you will almost certainly never have to worry about your weight again. You'll just eat healthy foods and become resilient enough to turn down foods that hurt your body. You'll stay full of nutrient-dense foods and learn to love movement. And you can see life as a happy gift instead of this constant battle of making yourself eat less while struggling to avoid binges. Life doesn't have to be that way anymore. Humans, we are malleable and fluid creatures. We can literally decide who we want to become and then make it happen. I am incredibly different than I was in my 20s. I used to be emotional, obese, anxious, kind of shy, and totally addicted to sugar. And now I'm free from addiction. I'm emotionally stable, I'm at a healthy weight, I'm calm, and I'm happy. Your brain and body are capable of remarkable changes. If you're willing to put in the hard and sometimes very cheesy work of making those changes happen. Thank you for watching. If you think any of these tips could help somebody that you know, just share the video. It doesn't have to be a totally pro-carnivore video. This is for somebody who is just looking to lose weight in their own way and to keep it off forever. And if you're also willing to make a quick comment below or hit the thumbs up button, it will help to spread the word to other people. All right, I'll talk to you soon.